The day my son called another man Dad wasn't the moment I understood the truth. That realization came later, much later. It came quietly, sitting alone at my kitchen table, holding a cream-colored wedding invitation with my name misspelled, and realizing that every memory I had built my life on was carefully edited. Not erased, edited. I'm writing this because I don't know where else to put it. I'm not looking for advice. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just need someone to hear it, because for 12 years, I was the only one who didn't know. From the outside, my life was clean. Not flashy, not perfect, just solid, respectable, safe. I was 39 years old, worked as a project manager for a mid-size construction firm, owned a modest house in a quiet neighborhood, and had been married to Emily for almost 13 years. People used words like stable when they talked about us. She's lucky, coworkers used to say. You did it right, my father told me once. And our son, Lucas, was the center of everything. Tall for his age, quietly confident, smart in a way that didn't need attention. I coached his soccer team when he was younger. Taught him how to drive. Helped him move into his college dorm. I cried when he left for school. Not the ugly crying. Just the quiet kind you do in the car so no one sees. That's the kind of father I was. Or at least, the kind I thought I was. Looking back, I hate how obvious it all seems. But at the time, it was nothing. Lucas was 21 when he got engaged. He called me one evening after dinner. Hey, Dad, he said, casual. I've got news. That word, Dad, still landed comfortably in my chest back then. He told me about Hannah, how they'd been dating for 2 years, how he planned to propose during a weekend trip. I congratulated him, told him how proud I was. Then he said something strange. I should probably tell Mom first. She already knows some of it. Some of it. I didn't ask what that meant. Why would I? Emily and Lucas had always been close, closer than most mothers and sons. Shared jokes, private looks, a kind of emotional shorthand I sometimes felt outside of. But that's normal, right? That's what I told myself. When I told Emily about the engagement, she froze. Just for a second, her smile came late. Oh, she said, that's wonderful. Her voice was steady. Her hands weren't. She busied herself with the dishes, turning on the faucet louder than necessary. I noticed, but didn't push. 13 years of marriage teaches you when to ask questions and when to let silence pass. That night, she kissed me goodnight without meeting my eyes. Again, nothing alarming. At least, not then. The wedding invitation arrived 3 weeks later. Cream paper, gold trim, expensive. Emily brought it inside while I was in the garage. She didn't hand it to me right away. She set it on the counter. Face down. Your son's wedding invitation came, she said. Not our son. Your son. I didn't register that either. I picked it up, smiling. Then I saw the names. Lucas Bennett and Hannah Moore. Bennett. My last name is Miller. Always has been. I laughed. Typo, I said. They messed up the last name. Emily didn't laugh. She didn't even look at it. They must have used an old template, she said quickly. You know how these things go. She walked out of the kitchen. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at that name. Bennett. That night, I searched my memory. Bennett. The name stirred something old. Something buried. A face I hadn't thought about in over 2 decades. Mark Bennett. Emily's college boyfriend. She'd mentioned him once or twice when we first started dating. Nothing dramatic. Just a name. A past. He was intense, she'd said once. Not someone you build a life with. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? As wedding planning started, something shifted. Lucas spoke to Emily constantly. Calls I wasn't included in. Decisions made before I heard about them. Venue chosen. Guest list finalized. Dates locked. When I asked questions, I got vague answers. "We'll loop you in," Emily said. Lucas avoided eye contact when I pressed. "You don't need to worry about the details, Dad," he said gently. "Just show up. Just show up." One evening, Lucas came over for dinner alone. Emily had plans with a friend. He sat across from me at the table, hands folded, posture stiff. "There's something I should talk to you about," he said. My stomach tightened. I waited. Then he shook his head. "No, not yet. I just wanted to check in." Check in. He left early. I sat there long after the door closed, listening to the refrigerator hum. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I knew anything, but because something inside me was waking up. A week later, I got an email. Subject line: seating arrangement. Bennett family. I wasn't supposed to see it. Emily had left her laptop open. I know, I shouldn't have looked. But my name was right there. Under Miller. Separated. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because confronting means you're ready to know. And I wasn't. Instead, I did what men like me do. I started observing. The way Emily tensed when Lucas mentioned his future in-laws. The way she corrected him gently when he said, "Dad," not to me, but in stories about his childhood. The way certain memories were always told without me. I began to realize something terrifying. There was a version of my son's life that didn't include me. And everyone seemed fluent in it. Everyone except me. 2 days before the wedding, I finally asked, "Why is Lucas using the name Bennett?" Emily didn't answer immediately. She sat down, slowly, as if her body knew what was coming before her mind allowed it. "It's complicated," she said. That word, complicated, the favorite shield of liars everywhere. "I think," she continued, "it might be better if we talk about this after the wedding." After the wedding, I laughed. A short, sharp sound. "No," I said. "We're not doing that." She looked at me then. Really looked at me. And for the first time in 13 years, I saw fear. Because the truth, what Emily finally admitted next, wasn't about an affair, wasn't about a mistake, wasn't even about love. It was about a decision she made before Lucas was born. A decision that turned me into something I never agreed to be. I didn't sleep that night. Not because Emily hadn't told me the truth yet, but because the look on her face finally confirmed something I'd been avoiding. You don't look like that when you're hiding a mistake. You look like that when you've been living inside a lie for years, and the walls are starting to collapse. Emily stayed at the kitchen table long after I asked my question. Her hands were folded neatly, like she was preparing for an interview instead of a confession. "Please," she said quietly. "Let's not do this right now." "Why?" I asked. "Because the wedding's in 2 days? Or because you don't know how to say it out loud?" She closed her eyes. "That name," she said, "it doesn't mean what you think." That was the moment I realized something important. She thought I was accusing her of cheating. She thought I was behind the truth, when in reality, I was still standing miles away from it. "I never cheated on you," she said quickly. "Not once. Not after we got married." The relief I felt was immediate and shameful. I hated myself for how fast I wanted to believe her. "Then explain it," I said. She exhaled. Slow. Controlled. "You and I met when Lucas was already possible." I frowned. "Possible?" "I was pregnant," she said. The word hit the room like dropped glass. I didn't know, she added quickly. Not at first. My mouth went dry. You're saying? I found out a week after we started dating. A week. I did the math in my head. That would mean, Mark, I said. She nodded. She told the story calmly. Too calmly. She and Mark had broken up months earlier. Messy. Emotional. He was leaving the city. No contact. When she found out she was pregnant, she panicked. She didn't tell him. She didn't tell me either. Not yet. I thought I could handle it, she said. I thought I'd figure it out. And then? I asked. And then I fell in love with you. There it was. The sentence that was supposed to soften the blow. It didn't. She told me she almost told me the truth. Almost. I rehearsed it, she said. 100 times. When? Before the wedding. After the wedding. After Lucas was born. After his first steps. After his first birthday. After every milestone that made the lie heavier. But every time she looked at me, she made the same choice. Not to tell me, because I was good, because I was stable, because I would stay. You chose me, I said slowly. Yes, and you chose for me. She didn't answer. Didn't need to. I raised him, I said. I know, she whispered. I was there, every day, every night. I taught him everything. I know. You let me love him, I said. Without knowing. Her face crumpled. I didn't let you, she said. You wanted to. That sentence lodged somewhere deep in my chest. Because she was right. I had wanted to. And that made everything worse. Does Lucas know? I asked. She hesitated. Too long. My hands clenched. He's always known, she said. The room tilted. Always? I repeated. She nodded. We told him when he was old enough to understand. We thought it was better than. Who's we? I snapped. She swallowed. Mark and I. I don't remember standing up. I just remember being on my feet. So you two decided, I said slowly, that I would raise someone else's child without consent. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that. Mark had been involved. Not fully. Not publicly. But present. Birthdays. Graduations. Phone calls. He lived in another state, for work. He sent money. He visited quietly. I had been told those trips were family friends. The puzzle pieces snapped together violently. The sudden vacations. The unexplained absences. The way Lucas never looked surprised when another man showed up. I remembered Lucas at 10 years old. We were in the garage. I was teaching him how to fix a bike chain. He'd asked me a question I hadn't thought about in years. Do you ever feel like you're pretending? I'd laughed. Told him all adults feel that way. Now I understood. He loves you, Emily said desperately. That's real, is it? I asked. She nodded. He does. You're his father. No, I said quietly. I'm the man who showed up. She flinched. Why now? I asked. Why the name change now? Emily wiped her face. Because Mark is paying for the wedding. There it was. The ugliest truth yet. He wanted his name on it, she said. Just on paper. Just officially. Just officially. As if identity were paperwork. The seating chart made sense now. Why I wasn't sitting with the Bennett family. Why I wasn't in certain photos. Why the speeches were arranged. I wasn't being erased. I was being repositioned. I didn't leave the house. I slept in the guest room. Emily cried. I stared at the ceiling. At 3:12 a.m., I received a text. From Lucas. Can we talk tomorrow? Just you and me. Tomorrow. The wedding day. Lying there, staring into the dark, one thought repeated itself. If he's always known, then every dad was a choice. And I didn't know which answer scared me more. The morning of the wedding arrived quietly. No dramatic storm. No sign from the universe. Just sunlight through the curtains and the sound of Emily moving around the house like everything was normal. That might have been the cruelest part. Because nothing about this day was normal. Lucas and I met before the ceremony. A small cafe near the venue. Early enough that no one else was there yet. He was already seated when I walked in. He stood when he saw me. "Hey," he said. "Hey," I replied. We sat. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he took a breath. "I know you talked to Mom," he said. I nodded. "I should have talked to you sooner." "Yes," I said quietly. "You should have." He looked down at his hands. I didn't know how. That was honest. But honesty doesn't erase years. "She told me when I was 11, Lucas said. "Mark and her. Together. 11. Old enough to remember everything. "They told me you didn't know," he continued. "That it was important you didn't know." I swallowed. "And you were okay with that?" He hesitated. "No," he said. "But I was a kid. And everyone told me it was for the best." "For whose best?" He looked up at me then. "You were my dad," he said. "In every way that mattered." I believed he meant it. That didn't make it easier. "Why the name?" I asked. He exhaled slowly. "Mark asked," he said. "He said it was time." "Time. For what?" "To be acknowledged," Lucas added. "Before I start my own family." I nodded. "So this is about him." "It's about identity," Lucas said. "About honesty." I almost laughed. Because honesty was the one thing missing from all of it. "I won't stop you," I said. He looked surprised. "I don't have that right," I continued. "I never did." He opened his mouth to argue. I raised my hand. "But understand this," I said. "You're not choosing a name. You're choosing a story." He went quiet. "And stories," I added, "have consequences." The ceremony was beautiful. Too beautiful. White chairs. Soft music. Smiling faces. Emily avoided my eyes. Mark Bennett stood at the front, tall, confident, surrounded by people who clearly knew exactly who he was. I was seated 3 rows back. Alone. Not with family. Not with friends. Just present. I understood then. This wasn't an oversight. This was my place. When Lucas walked down the aisle, he looked calm. Happy. And when he reached the front, the officiant spoke the words that shattered something inside me. "Who gives this man away?" Mark stepped forward. Without hesitation. Without resistance. He placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder. And Lucas didn't pull away. I didn't breathe. Not because I was angry. But because I finally understood. This was never about replacing me. It was about correcting me. The speeches began. Mark spoke first. He talked about pride. About legacy. About blood. People clapped. Then the officiant looked around. "Is there anyone else who would like to say a few words?" Silence. I stood. Emily's head snapped up. Lucas turned, eyes wide. I walked to the front slowly. Calmly. Not because I was brave. But because I was done hiding. "I wasn't sure if I should speak today," I began. The room was silent. "I was invited here as a guest," I said. "But for a long time. I thought I was more." A few uncomfortable shifts. I looked at Lucas. "I raised you," I said. "I taught you how to ride a bike, how to drive, how to treat people." He swallowed. "I didn't share your blood," I continued. "But I shared your life." The room held its breath. "I won't pretend this is easy," I said. "Or that I'm not hurting." I paused. "But love isn't ownership," I said. "And fatherhood isn't a name on paper." I turned to Hannah. "You're marrying a good man," I said. Take care of him. Then back to Lucas. And whatever name you carry, I said softly, know that I was proud to be yours. I stepped back. No applause. Just silence. And then, Lucas stood. He walked toward me. Not to Mark. To me. He stopped in front of me. And for the first time that day, he hugged me. Not quickly. Not politely. He held on. I'm sorry, he whispered. I closed my eyes. That was enough. I left before the reception. No drama. No confrontation. Just a quiet exit. Emily didn't follow me. Mark didn't look at me. Lucas watched me go. I drove home alone. And for the first time in years, the silence didn't feel heavy. It felt honest. I lost my marriage. We divorced quietly months later. No lawyers fighting over lies that were already dead. I lost the version of fatherhood I thought I had. But I didn't lose myself. Lucas still calls. Not every day. Not every week. But when he does, he still says, Dad. Not because he has to. Because he chooses to. Love built on lies will always collapse. But love built on choice? That survives. Even when it hurts. Even when it changes shape. If you stayed until the end of this story, it means you understand something most people don't. Life doesn't break us in loud moments. It breaks us quietly, in seating charts, last names, and truths revealed too late. If this story meant something to you, like it, subscribe, and stay here. Because the next story will hurt differently. And sometimes, that's exactly what we need.